At the beginning of episode 3, we see Seol A speaking with U Seok. She admits, "You're right. My first boyfriend's name was Suo. There was a terrorist attack in Syria, and he died there. However, that doesn't mean I had any hand in the attack. In any case, whatever insurance policy was in place was cancelled. I didn't receive a single penny." U Seok replies, "A policy might get cancelled once. It might even happen twice. I could accept that as a coincidence. But it cannot happen a third time. What possible benefit could you gain from the deaths of those 3 people?" Seol A responds, "That's a good question. Now, you should leave. If you come here again without permission, I will call the police and I might even sue your insurance company." In the next scene, we see U Seok out for a run. He finds himself standing in front of the shop owned by Han Seol's parents, but the shop is closed. He asks a man nearby where they have gone. The man explains, "You know that redevelopment work is about to begin here." As soon as they received their compensation, Han Seol's parents moved away. The following scene takes place at the Royal Auction House. Everyone is watching a video, the very same footage where we previously saw Seol A talking to Eun-ji. In the video, Eun-ji had said, "You have a secret. I'm going to expose it very soon." Everyone was staring intently at the screen when Seol A herself walks in. She notices the video but says nothing. Instead, she simply tells everyone to get back to work. Meanwhile, elsewhere, we see U Seok. He, too, is watching this video. Seol A arrives to meet with Seon A. Jae-yug is with her. Seol A shows Seon A the chat logs between Jae-yug and Eun-ji, in which Jae-yug is reassuring her not to worry. "You will soon become the chief auctioneer here." There is also a photo of Eun-ji with Jae-yug, both are seen lying on a bed. Seol A remarks, "You must have seen the lengths I went to in order to make Eun-ji the chief auctioneer." She then turns to Jae-yug and says, "And what about you? We've all seen that video. What are you planning to do next? What is your strategy?" Later, Seon A asks, "If we want to divert attention from something we wish to keep hidden, what should we do?" She points to a painting belonging to a certain art dealer, explaining that it was previously auctioned at Christie's in Hong Kong. However, she reveals that it is currently located right here in South Korea. "Whoever manages to retrieve this painting and bring it back to me shall be named the next successor." She reasons that if they succeed in this task, public attention will shift away from Seol A's video scandal and focus entirely on this painting instead. The two then leave the room. Jae-yug grabs Seol A's laptop and attempts to hack into it. Seol A tells him, "It's no use, the actual footage is stored on my other laptop. Don't worry, though I have no intention of leaking it." Later, she is seen browsing through Jae-yug's chat logs, but she promptly deletes them. Meanwhile, Seon A enters her secret room. There, she gazes at a painting depicting a woman alongside her daughter and husband. She muses aloud, "Artist Han, your daughter is nothing like you. That is precisely why I like her." She is likely referring to Seol A. In the next scene, we see Seong-il working on the case. He repeatedly reviews the elevator surveillance footage, which shows Eun-ji entering first, followed some time later by Seol A. He turns to Jae-yug and tells him, "The call you received earlier wasn't a prank call after all. The caller was right. Eun-ji didn't commit suicide. Someone murdered her. We need to track down the girl who provided that tip, and you need to get this done today." Just then, U Seok calls Jae-young. She steps outside to take the call. Both of them are seated in a car. Jae-young informs him of their captain's wishes. U Seok replies, "No problem, let's go find the tipster." In the next scene, they arrive at the location from which the girl had placed the call. The phone is located outside a shop. An elderly woman is sitting outside the shop. Jae-young approaches her and addresses her as Grandma. However, the woman gets annoyed and refuses to speak to her. Just then, U Seok notices a car parked nearby that is equipped with a dashcam. He then approaches the shop owner. This time, instead of calling her Grandma, he addresses her as beautiful woman. He also hands her some money. Delighted by this, she provides them with the dashcam footage. We then see Seol A talking to her friend in Hong Kong, asking about the stolen painting. However, she doesn't manage to uncover any information. Meanwhile, someone is knocking at her door. She goes to check and finds that someone has left a bottle of alcohol outside, specifically, a bottle labeled Siren. This is the very same alcohol that Sang-jae used to serve at his restaurant. Upon seeing it, Seol A becomes visibly nervous. She steps out to see who the person was, but it turns out to be a delivery man who has already fled the scene. Seol A wants to review the security footage, but the security guard tells her, "We'll send it to you via your phone later, besides, our manager isn't here right now." Back inside her home, Seol A stares at the bottle of alcohol. Her thoughts drift back to Sang-jae specifically, to what had transpired between them on the ship, and how she had gone to identify his body. Elsewhere, we see Yoo-seok speaking with his boss. He requests, "Please have some business cards printed for me, as I will now be working at Royal Auxin specifically, as an account manager." He adds, "We need to find out absolutely everything there is to know about Seol A." The scene then cuts back to Seol A. Footage of the delivery man is sent over. It is revealed that this courier works for her company. Later, she speaks with Sang-mi. Sang-mi confirms that it is true that someone wanted to send her something. However, she refuses to accept it and asks Sang-mi to give her the sender's number instead. She soon discovers that the number belongs to Yoon Ok. In the next scene, she approaches Yoon Ok, who is in the middle of a photoshoot. She asks him directly, "Did you send alcohol to me?" He answers yes and explains that Sang-jae had asked him to do so. Seol A asks, "Why are you doing this? Are you also trying to prove that I killed Sang-jae?" She then turns to leave. Just then, Yoon A arrives and asks, "Where are you going?" "Let's have dinner together. My brother refused to send the alcohol, so I sent it instead. Did you like my gift?" She then makes disparaging remarks about Sang-jae. Yoon Ok stops his sister and tells her not to speak that way. Later, Yoon Ok recalls the conversation he had with Sang-jae. Sang-jae had said, "If anything happens to me, please have this wine delivered to Seol A. I overheard something, and I can't bring myself to ignore it. I feel that I still don't fully trust Seol A." In the following scene, we see Yoo Seok at the Royal Oak. He brings gifts for everyone and announces, "I am the new account manager here." Just then, Seol A also arrives. He approaches her and introduces himself, saying, "Let's work together." Seol A replies, "Come, let me show you how things work around here." She then takes him on a tour of several rooms, explaining, "No one is allowed to enter here without my permission." Yoo-seok asks, "What about the building? Can I go up the stairs? There aren't any cameras there, anyway." She looks at him but says nothing. Yoo-seok asks, "All right, have you figured out who the next guy is? Going to be, the one who falls in love with you?" She looks at him and replies, "I think the only reason you came here was to spy on me." Seol A turns to leave, but he steps in front of her, blocking her path. She moves closer to him. She looks as if she wants to kiss him, but she holds back and points out, "There are cameras watching us here. If you don't want to cause any trouble, get out of my way." He eventually steps aside. Later, he calls his colleague, Young-soo, and tells him, "Yoonji's laptop isn't here, they've had it removed." He asks Young-soo to track down her car, but Young-soo declines, claiming, "I couldn't find it." After a moment of thought, he says, "I know exactly where it is." He then heads to the parking area where Yoo-seok keeps his car. A short while later, he locates Yoonji's vehicle. He breaks the lock and gets inside. He begins searching for something, but then his eyes land on a hotel keycard lying there, one that reads, Louis Palace. In the next scene, we see Seol A at Seokji's bar. Seokji brings her some food, but Seol A refuses to eat. Seokji tells her, "Don't worry about what Yoon A said. She doesn't know anything." Meanwhile, we see Yoo-seok. He, too, approaches his colleague. He hands him the Louis Palace keycard and instructs him, "Find out everything you can about this place specifically. Where is this hotel located?" We then see Seol A speaking with a woman. She is trying to find out who owns 𝗙𝗶𝗰𝗁𝗲. However, the woman refuses to give her any information, or, rather, she simply claims, "I don't know." However, Seol A insists, "I'm certain you know, because your husband is the vice president of Christie's in Hong Kong, the very place where the stealer was auctioned." The woman replies, "Very well, I will tell you, but you must do a favor for me in return." She then reveals exactly what that favor entails. She provides information regarding the owner of the stealer, revealing that his name is Jun Bum. In the next scene, Seol A researches 𝗖𝗶𝗰 and realizes that he is the very same man who attended their auction here and even shook her hand. He had been interested in her. Later, she obtains his phone number and places a call to 𝗖𝗶𝗰. In the following scene, 𝗖𝗶𝗰 arrives to meet her. She is waiting right there to welcome him. She shows him several paintings, but the centerpiece is the very painting we saw in the previous episode, the one depicting a child inside the frame, weeping. We learn that this painting was sent by 𝗖𝗶𝗰. 𝗖𝗶𝗰 shares the story behind the painting, becoming visibly emotional as he does so. He then suggests to Seol A that they should have a meal together. She agrees. In the next scene, they are seen dining together. She gets straight to the point. Here is what I want. I am interested in your 𝗙𝗏𝗏 painting. It is to be auctioned off at our upcoming event, and you will be compensated financially in exchange. If you have any specific terms or conditions, please let me know. However, he firmly replies, it is too precious to me, I cannot part with it. If you truly desire it, I could give it to you, but you already know exactly what I would require in return. He continues to gaze intently at her. Meanwhile, we cut to Sang-gil's team, who are attempting to identify the anonymous tipster by analyzing surveillance footage. They track the young woman through the camera feeds as she arrives at a metro station. She scans her transit card and enters the station. Ju-young says that we will soon find out who this girl is. On the other hand, we see Yoo-suk speaking with his associate, Yong-soo. The objective is to discover the location of the 𝗬𝗏𝗃 Palace. Yong-soo informs him that there are 75 such palaces in their area. Yoo-suk asks, what do you intend to do? Yong-soo replies that he plans to visit and inspect every single one of them. Yoo-suk tells him to stand down, noting that they have plenty of experts available whom they can consult instead. In the next scene, we see Yoo-suk approaching Mr. Yu, the man who had previously told Yoo-suk to stop tailing him, insisting that he was doing honest work. Yoo-suk simply says, all right, I have a job for you. The following scene shows the scanner card for the 𝗬𝗏𝗃 Palace being distributed to all the delivery personnel. One by one, they visit every 𝗬𝗏𝗃 Palace location. After numerous attempts, they finally identify which specific 𝗬𝗏𝗃 Palace the card belongs to. Meanwhile, at the police station, we see Sang-il speaking with the woman who provided the anonymous tip, who turns out to be none other than Yuna. He tells her, you gave us a tip, we know it was you. You can tell us everything you know, we promise not to reveal your identity. Eventually, she confesses, I saw Seol A kill Yoon-ji. Elsewhere, we see Yoo-suk arriving at the 𝗬𝗏𝗃 Palace with the card. He scans it and gains entry. Inside, the building contains numerous rooms. He scans each one individually until, finally, one of the rooms opens up. Upon entering, he discovers a small, handcrafted miniature house. He gazes at it for a moment before switching on its interior light. In another building, we see Seol A taking a shower. On her back, there is a large, distinct scar. Yoo-suk continues to search and investigate the interior of the house before eventually making his way out to the balcony. But just then, he spots Seol right in front of him. He is left completely shocked by the sight. Perhaps Seol has spotted him as well. And with that, episode 3 comes to an end. So guys, we'll meet again in episode 4. Until then, bye. And please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.